Hey everybody, it's your boy Bunny 3000. We are here on MechWarrior Online to take a quick look at the Phoenix Hawk mech. In the forums, I've seen quite a bit of talk about how unimpressive this mech is, which is probably true. One of the big things that you'll notice about the Phoenix Hawk mech is that it is relatively tall. The arms are really out there, very easy to blow off, and the torsos, because of these extensions here that, from my understanding, back in the day used to be for missile racks, it just leaves a lot to be desired when it comes to putting a target on its back. The Phoenix Hawk is basically a medium mech that's supposed to be very mobile. It's supposed to be, I guess you could say, the leader of a light lance. Since it's a bit more durable, some of the builds have an ECM built into it, and it has a bit more durability than some of the other smaller mechs. From my understanding, this thing can be outfitted with up to a 350 standard engine or XL engine. We'll take a quick look at that, and that will allow you to go a very fast speed. I think up to 130 something for a medium mech, which is pretty good. Also, a lot of the different builds have jump jets, as you see here with the Phoenix Hawk 1B, and like I said before, some have the Guardian ECMs also a part of it. And what I kind of wanted to do was give you guys a look at some of the different builds that I have, just to show you which one I actually did my 800 damage sneak attack mission. Because if you use this mech in the right way and you're a decent enough pilot with somebody, you know, in terms of the way that you approach a battle, you can do a lot of damage with this mech. To start off with, probably the hardest standard build for the Phoenix Hawk from what I've seen so far is this Phoenix Hawk 1. I was originally outfitted with a couple of medium lasers, a couple of machine guns, and I want to say either a PPC or a large laser. I can't remember exactly what the original build was. I think it was a large laser if you take a look at the quirks here. And the only problem with that I have with it is that it has a lot of heat issues. There's a lot of heat generation with anything that has to do with energy weapons on these Phoenix Hawks. So because you're running around a lot, you'll overheat a decent amount of times. So you'll have to module it up and set it up with as much of the different skills as you can as you build these things up. Now, my first build with this very first mech probably isn't a great one, but I'm going to work with it to see whether or not it works out. I've got a couple of small lasers and stuck as many autocannon 5 ammo racks as I could. I basically just made as much tonnage as I could available without using an XL engine, which I may even do later on because I didn't have the money. And until I get that amount of money, this is probably the build I'm going to rock with this one. It hasn't done too well because all of its weapons are in the arms. All of it. So it doesn't matter what build that you put on this mech, more than likely, unless you're a really good pilot, you're going to spend a lot of late missions without weaponry. That's just the way it is with these things. You gotta hit and quit. That's basically what you have to do. Also, the other mech that's on here, which is probably my second favorite, is the 1B, which I think I just showed you earlier. Its quirks really have to do with PPC and the rate of fire for machine guns. So if you like that sort of thing, this mech is definitely quirked out to be able to situate that. Me personally, I'm not a huge fan of PPCs much anymore. I love large lasers. So I've outfitted this one with an extended range large laser and a bunch of medium lasers. Probably a smarter man than me would probably do the opposite. Stick a PPC and a bunch of machine guns on this thing with a bunch of ammo and see what kind of damage that they can do. I'm not quite that good. So I basically outfitted this thing with a standard engine, think I have a standard engine. No, this is the one I have, an XL engine, as you can see. Make it a little bit more visible. I've got an XL engine. It's got the Guardian ECM. I've got the Beagle Active Probe so that I can target people and let it be able to see stuff easier. And also I've got a bunch of heat sinks, because with the jump jets running around and all these lasers, this build needs it. But of course, as you can see with the armor, this build has the same problem. Your arms are going to get blown off and you're going to be pissed off. So, you know, you kind of have to play around with the armor sets. If you're really, really into it, you could pull armor off the torsos like this. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Do it like this. One that way, one that way. Okay, and do it kind of that way so that you kind of spread out your armor about as much as you can. Take that just to redistribute the armor a little bit more. It typically doesn't help that much, but you know, sometimes you just gotta work with it. And then last mech that I have is probably my most favorite, and that I didn't really do what I probably should have done with, is the Phoenix Hawk 1K. I stuck a large pulse laser, which is probably my most favorite weapon of all, and a ton of small lasers, along with the Beagle Active Probe. Those small lasers pack a punch, so if I get in behind the mech and he doesn't know about it, I pound him, and it works great. This thing is already pretty quick. It doesn't have any jump jets, so the tonnage is pretty well distributed for it. Let's take a look at the armor with this one. See, it's already got its arms maxed out with the armor. Same thing with the legs. The legs are all armored up, so the armor is distributed already really well with this mech, and let's compare with the other ones that have a bunch of jump jets. So I didn't have too many problems. I just doubled up all the heat sinks, stuck all the lasers that I could on it, had the little XL engine on here, and did whatever else that I could, and it works out really well. So basically, just make certain when you use this mech, if you use this mech, run around with the lights if you can. Try to do it in a way that you can't be seen, because this mech is tall. So that's the other problem. If you're gonna run around, do it in cover, because it's easier for them to see your mech than it is a lot of the shorter light mechs that run around in this game. So gotta be careful. But if you do it just right, as you've seen on some of my missions, you definitely can pull off a lot of damage. Hit and run, make certain you make use of that speed to get around behind the mechs, and make certain that their torso turn radius doesn't become a problem for you, and just keep pounding them. And when you get good, this is a pretty decent mech to use. And for me, it's a nostalgia thing. I love the Phoenix Hawk. There's probably other better medium mechs that are relatively quick to use than the Phoenix Hawk that have a lower profile, but hey, this one's near and dear to my heart. Can't wait for the Wasp to come out. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is your boy, Bunny 3000. Thanks for chilling with me, and stay tuned for a bunch of new vids with gameplay on the Phoenix Hawk. Peace.